Repair was supposed to be simple. A brand new part, the correct model, installed carefully. The engine turned over. Something sounded wrong. Within days, the warning light returned. Same issue, same frustration, another trip back to the store. Stories like this are no longer rare. They're becoming routine, and they're not about one careless customer, one bad employee, or one unlucky purchase. They point to a deeper shift happening quietly across the auto parts industry. If you've ever replaced a part that failed far sooner than it should have, hold on to that experience. It's the key to understanding what changed. For decades, auto parts stores were built on a simple promise. You walk in with a problem. You walk out with the right solution. Chains like AutoZone and O'Reilly Auto Parts earned trust because the counter wasn't just a place to pay. It was a filter against mistakes. Employees were expected to know enough about vehicles to stop you from buying the wrong part before it ever left the store. That expectation never faded from customers' minds. People still walk in believing the system will protect them from wasted money, repeated labor, or creating a new problem while trying to fix an old one. But the structure that once supported that promise has quietly thinned out. As one longtime employee put it, "I'm not paid enough to know as much as a mechanic. My job is to look up codes in the system, not diagnose cars." If this kind of system-level explanation helps you understand why everyday experiences feel worse than they used to, subscribe to GeoLogic. This channel focuses on what changed underneath, not just the frustration on the surface. Now ask yourself this honestly. When was the last time an auto parts store solved the problem on the first visit? One of the most unsettling changes customers describe sounds almost unbelievable. A brand new part fails immediately, not after years of wear, not after abuse, sometimes not even after a full drive home. Alternators grinding on first startup, starters clicking and dying within weeks, sensors triggering the same error they were supposed to eliminate. This isn't a handful of bad experiences amplified online. Warranty data and shop reports show a real shift. In several remanufactured categories, early life failure within the first 60 to 90 days is estimated to be 2 to 3 times higher than it was a decade ago, especially for alternators and starters. A key reason is hidden in plain sight. A large share of parts sold today are remanufactured. They're rebuilt from used components pulled from vehicles with unknown histories. The housing looks new, the packaging looks clean, but the internals have already lived one life. The failure doesn't arrive slowly. It arrives early. That's why so many people describe the experience as bad luck when it's actually systemic. If you've ever installed a part and immediately felt that quiet panic that something wasn't right, you already understand this shift. When customers push back, one phrase is almost always offered as reassurance. It has a lifetime warranty. On paper, that sounds generous. In practice, it often changes nothing. The warranty replaces the part. It does not replace your time. It does not cover labor. It does not pay for towing, missed work, or doing the same job twice. Industry estimates show that return and exchange rates on some remanufactured components are high enough that stores now build those costs directly into pricing, spreading the burden across all buyers. Employees see this cycle every day. One counter worker described it bluntly. A lifetime warranty just means exchanging one defective part for another. People come back 2 or 3 times, then they stop coming. At some point, you stop feeling unlucky and start feeling stupid for trusting it again. So the real question stops being about free replacements. Would you rather have a part that's easy to exchange, or one that never fails in the first place? For years, the logic of aftermarket parts felt straightforward. Lower price, acceptable quality, immediate availability. That balance no longer holds. Today, customers walk up to the counter and see prices that feel uncomfortably close to OEM parts, sometimes even higher. The first instinct is to assume price gouging. The reality is quieter and more structural. Physical stores absorb costs that online sellers largely avoid. Rent, labor, inventory sitting idle, shipping, returns, warranty exchanges. Every defective part that comes back has already generated cost twice. Once when it was shipped and stocked, again when it is returned, processed, and replaced. Those losses don't disappear. They're averaged into future prices. Add inflation. Add higher freight costs. Add tariffs quietly passed through the supply chain. The result is a contradiction customers feel immediately. Parts cost more, reliability drops. If you've ever stood at the counter wondering how a budget option ended up costing almost the same as an OEM part, that confusion isn't accidental. It's how the system now stays afloat. Which frustrates you more, paying more than expected, or paying more for something that fails sooner? Pause for a moment. Forget brands. Forget warranties. Forget the employee behind the counter. Imagine buying the same critical component for your car 3 times in a single year. Each time, the replacement is free. Each time, the labor is not. Each time, the risk of being stranded returns. At what point does covered stop, meaning protected? This is the moment many customers quietly change their behavior. They stop trusting the system to save them. They start assuming failure is part of the process. If that realization feels familiar, it explains why frustration spikes right here, not later. Most customers believe they are choosing between competing brands. In reality, many are choosing between labels applied to the same manufacturing pipeline. Over the past decade, aftermarket suppliers have consolidated quietly. Fewer factories now produce a larger share of parts. Private label manufacturing expanded. The same production line can supply multiple brands, differentiated mainly by price tier, materials, and how much quality control is paid for. The box changes. The branding changes. The source often does not. This is why quality can feel unpredictable from one purchase to the next. One batch performs fine, the next fails early. Employees notice it too. Some batches are fine, others come back non-stop. We don't control which ones we get. Once you understand this, the decision stops being about which logo you trust. It becomes about how much hidden risk you're willing to accept before you even open the box. When frustration peaks, it usually lands on the person behind the counter, but that person is operating inside a system that no longer rewards deep knowledge. There was a time when many counter employees were former mechanics or long-term automotive workers. Experience mattered because it prevented mistakes that cost customers time and money. That model became expensive. As labor costs rose, change shifted towards speed and coverage. Training became shorter, turnover increased. The goal quietly changed from problem prevention to transaction completion. The company wants us to sell more, not spend time on in-depth training. If I were as good as everyone expects, I'd be working at a repair shop already. Customers arrive expecting expertise. Employees are structured to perform lookups, not diagnoses. Neither side is wrong. They are simply misaligned. Many people assume the process stayed the same, and only the people changed. The opposite is true. Modern vehicles are far more complex than the system designed to support DIY repairs. VIN-level variations, sensor interdependence, and software calibration mean a single incorrect detail can invalidate an otherwise correct part. A sensor rarely affects one system anymore. It talks to many. So when a repair fails, it often looks like incompetence. In reality, it's complexity colliding with outdated expectations. The DIY model was built for mechanical intuition. Modern cars punish intuition. That's why even careful customers and well-meaning employees keep ending up in the same loop of wrong parts, returns, and repeat repairs. This is where many longtime customers quietly drift away. Online sellers like RockAuto and Amazon don't feel better because they care more. They feel better because they're built differently. Clear VIN filtering, fewer human assumptions, more deliberate comparisons. You trade immediate access for accuracy. Dealerships offer another trade-off: higher prices, but tighter control and consistency. Salvage yards offer something else entirely: genuine used parts that sometimes outlast new ones. Physical auto parts stores sit uncomfortably in the middle. High overhead like retail, quality risk like budget suppliers. That middle ground used to work when trust was strong. Now it feels unstable. Here's the part that feels hardest to accept. Customer experience can decline while the business itself still performs well. Large chains can grow revenue, protect margins, and expand locations even as trust erodes. Rising costs are passed through pricing. Defects are absorbed by warranty systems. Labor is optimized for coverage and speed, not expertise. From the outside, the model looks healthy. From the counter, it feels brittle. Nothing collapses overnight. Expectations just quietly reset. Customers stop arguing. They stop pushing back. They stop trusting. And once trust becomes conditional, the relationship is already changing. Trust doesn't vanish in a dramatic exit. It fades through repetition. It fades when customers double-check every recommendation, when they expect returns before installation, when receipts are kept not for refunds, but for reassurance. Eventually, frustration turns into avoidance. People still walk into the store, but only when there's no alternative. I only go there if I have to. Once a brand reaches that point, anger is no longer the danger. Indifference is. This story isn't about bad customers. And it isn't about lazy employees. It's about a system where incentives drifted away from outcomes. Costs rose. Complexity exploded. Quality became inconsistent. And trust became collateral damage. If you've ever felt stuck between a failing part and an employee who couldn't really help you, that experience wasn't random. It was predictable. If this kind of system-level explanation helps you understand why everyday experiences feel different now, subscribe to GeoLogic. This channel exists to explain what changed beneath the surface, not just react to the symptoms. Before you go, share your experience. Do you think auto parts stores can rebuild trust, or has something fundamental already shifted for good?